After the first two keynotes, you must be warmed up for the first case, which will be presented by Anja Miladinovic. Anja is an HR professional with over 12 years of experience in multinational, challenging, and fast-paced environment. Working in Siemens, she had the opportunity to grow and develop together with the company both in the HR operations and the HR governance field. Welcome, Anja.
Hello, welcome. Thank you.
Good luck with your presentation.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm here today to talk about something which in our company we call the new normal. It's actually the point that our working environment totally changed, not only because the COVID-19, which let's say fast forwarded us to the future, but also because, let's take it honestly, everybody is now working from home and people just prefer it. So the companies have to adjust to this new normal.
If
I
I
would
can
like to share.
ask you, if I just like to share a presentation, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, in general, in our company, we were already thinking about how to shift into this new type of working. What happened with this pandemic and the health crisis is that we were just pushed a little bit forward in this moment. What we already have on some of our locations is that people are just working from home for the majority of time. We have some new apps which are helping them in there. It's like the possibility to see which workstations are available at which moment so that you can plan when you have to go to the office. What we were really concerned about is actually how our employees are going to feel when we make this change, especially because we did not transition to it somehow naturally. Actually, we transitioned quite aggressively due to this pandemic. This is why we were conducting a survey to check the pulse, to see how they feel, and to see is it the right time to really start to talk about this in larger scale. What we got as a response is actually really positive feedback from our employees because they were quite happy with this possibility, especially with all of the hurdles that many of them had with having older parents that they had to take care about, children that were out of school, and some personal issues. So when we saw that, we had, okay, now we are at the point that we have to see how to do it. So to see what would be some right balance between the home office or remote work and the work from the office, how to continue to support our employees so that they really feel confident in this way of working, and of course, how we should technically make it happen. This is the current situation that we have here. So, like I said, in some of the locations, we are totally remote. In some of the locations where the pandemic is more stable, we have people back in the office, and that's mostly in China. And in some of the locations, again, we are going home because of this new wave. So all of our businesses actually adjusted their way of working according to this. And the survey, which I mentioned, it covered 12,000 employees. And what we got as a feedback is that actually the majority of them would really prefer to have more than half of the working week from home. So when we realized all of this, there was a top-down communication from the management from one side and from the HR from the other side, focusing on leaders to just share what are the next steps so that they can also prepare their teams. And what we really want to do is not to have, okay, so one solution fits everybody, but really to allow flexibility according to specific needs of the teams, the locations, and the culture in the country. Here you can see what our employees saw as the most benefiting part from mobile working and what is the concern. If we exclude the technical area of concerns, because when the pandemic started, of course, the network was not totally equipped to let's say allow the 120,000 employees to work at the same time. but we managed to do that quite fast. But what was really the pain point is actually the social interaction. So of course you're used to see your colleagues, have coffees, have little breaks, or even share the business topics, just over the table, and it makes everything much faster and easier. And now we totally had to adjust to a new reality, which means somebody is reachable to you only if you call them, if you chat with them on some app, or send them an email. From the other side, the benefits which they saw are really to that we the most important thing for us is that we are not questioning productivity with this type of working, and that we are really trusting our employees that they're going to do their job as they should, even though there is nobody to check in, check out, to see how much they're online during the day, because we have a totally trusting relationship, and we don't do that kind of checks to them. So why we decided then that this is the right way to do is, like I said, to really empower our employees. So it's not definitely set like, now you're working 2 or 3 days per week and you have to adapt to that. No, we have really personal approach. So every manager is responsible to find the best fit for his team, and that means to really take into consideration the employee's opinion about it, the personal circumstances, and really to allow the flexibility to live, because this is the most flexible we can do. Then the second thing is to improve the well-being of the employees on a way that they can better plan their personal lives, because there is no commuting to work to and from the office. And from, I don't know, if you work from 9 to 5, from 500, you're at home and totally free to do your chores or to organize, or somebody coming in or spending time with the family. The next thing, of course, what all of the companies are facing, and what we could also hear from the previous presentations, is that the high, let's say, quality and scarce personnel, which we all are seeking, and those are the IT people, they actually almost do not accept any other kind of working than remote work. So also we, as a big and old, let's say, corporation, we had to adjust and to be more flexible and resilient. And what we are also doing is to teaching our customers how to change also the way that we communicate to them, to have much more of online calls, webinars, and let's say, this kind of remote communication also with them. So what we figure out is that actually in all of this story, we have two targets which we want to achieve. The first and the most important one is that we make a structure and an organization in a way that our employees have more flexibility to define the way they would like to work, that we can enable them, but that we stay on the same or even go on a higher level of productivity. And second one is to really follow through the feedback which we received, and that's the 2 to 3 day of remote work comparing to the office. So then we had this official communication. One was, like I said, from the top management that went to all of the employees, and the second one, which went from the central HR office to the managers, because they are going to lead the change together with the company. And what exactly we are planning to do in order to finalize this project, and the target is basically to finalize it in the 2021, is, like I mentioned, to tailor our approach. So really to see what kind of solution we can apply in which organization and in which country. We are all aware that to implement this kind of type of working also depends on the legal frame we have in the countries, which is sometimes really challenging to, let's say, support this. We have that in Serbia, for example. In the EU, it's much easier, but Latin America also is struggling with the same topic as we are. Then we have to totally transform the company culture, especially in the more traditional countries where we still have some kind of, let's say, hurdles in the total trust and empowerment of employees, where the managers are still doing some kind of micromanagement, and we really want to go from that in all of our locations, and to promote team self-organizations on a way that it's not only the job of the leader to organize the team. You also have your own voice, and you should say, okay, this would suit me the best. Me and my colleagues, we discuss how we can do this project that we are set on, and we made this kind of schedule, and just inform your manager because we trust you to organize yourself. So we also figured out like 5 main topics we have to take care about. Of course, number one is the leadership and the culture, which also needs to change, but we don't have such a significant, let's say, step there because we were already, let's say, implementing this kind of change. We are already many years talking about empowering the employees. We changed a lot of internal initiatives in a way that they really come from the employees and not from the leadership level. But in what we have now, we have a huge task to support our leaders in a way that they feel totally comfortable to lead, let's say, remotely. We have a lot of people, and that's totally normal, that first of all do not like change, and second, even if they like change, they should now totally change their style of leadership because they don't have anybody physically present, and there is this small, amount of intuitive feelings when you're sitting across the table with somebody, and you can also understand things that are not being said. What we are supporting really a lot is that every kind of communication that we have, which is done remotely, should really be done with cameras on, because that really makes a difference. The second thing is that we really made like a database of online trainings, also including the LinkedIn ones, that will help the leaders to transform. We have a lot of communication from the top management, what is okay and what is the new normal, and how you should really keep connecting with your team, and implementing some virtual coffees, games after hours, and picking up the phone or calling via the app whenever you need somebody, even if it's not an urgent topic like it was before. So that's the most important thing. And then we have this lower level, which is actually what from the support functions we have to figure out and set up so that our leaders can really lead the teams in a way that we want them to. So we go from the basic setup of the workplace, which our real estate is doing, and there we did already a lot of things. One of them is that when we're planning workstations, we plan one place for 125 employee. So it's even not possible that everybody is in the office at the same time because there is not enough room. And what we really do is plan flexible places. So you don't have your special cabinet, you don't have your, I don't know, special thing which is fixed to a certain table. Everybody has a place within the office, but it doesn't matter where you sit. So you can sit whatever is available. And we also developed this Comfy tool where you can check how many empty spaces are there and just apply for one and be sure that there is one waiting for you. Then, of course, we don't even have to talk about the technology and tools which are needed, but IT is really coping with that really, really good. Basically, we went mobile with everything, and In the countries that didn't have it up to now, we also implemented electronic signature archives. So really to decrease as much as possible the paperwork, which would mean that you have to go to the office. So we don't want that you go to the office because you have to sign some kind of paper. Of course, again, this depends on the country where you are living, but even for Serbia, which is quite old style in that regard, we managed to do a lot, because when you approach other partners that you're working with and say, okay, we totally transferred to electronic signing, usually we really found a good feedback, and they said, okay, let us handle it and we will do that. So we really have a good communication. Governmental contracts, that's another topic, but we cannot really influence on that too much. Next topic, really important, is the employee well-being. So already from 2017, we are doing initiative which are especially focusing on mental health in a company. So this is just like continuing the work which is already done. Of course, now we do it on a different level. So from approaching the employees, talking about mental health, offering support, assessing the risks that we have, we are now having to do that all over again, but we have some knowledge from the past, but now we talk about it in a virtual way, and how to support somebody when you're not physically present. What was shown to us is definitely the most important thing. It's the communication, and it's the culture of speaking up. So whenever we are now definitely sure that there is no such thing as over communicating. So does it go from the central line? Does it go from the top management? Does it go from the local management, your own team leader, or your colleagues? The more you share, the more people feel confident. Even when we share stuff which are, talking about some kind of uncertainty for the future, still we have much better feedback from the employees, because at least they know that there is something that they have to think about and that could happen in this or that way. So just keep your people in the loop and share as much as possible, communicate as much as possible, and really try to go, from the stigmata of, yeah, he's under stress, just don't talk to this person. No, he's under stress, let's talk to this person, let's try to unstress this person, let's see what's wrong, let's see why the stress came. Is it a private thing, is it a business thing? How can we support our employees? That's really important. And of course we have many other topics which are mostly concerning legal stuff. So legal, labor law, data privacy, health and safety at work, which is also an issue in Serbia, but let's hope that's going to change now because of the proposal of the changes in the labor law, which could, or let's say we hope that they're going to pull the proposal in the health and safety law. So what we did, and what we defined from the resources side in order to support our leaders and the employees, is one centralized SharePoint, where you as a manager or as an employee have different kind of access depending on your role, and where you can really find resources which are constantly updated, and where we really share openly the feedbacks from the countries step by step, how the implementation goes and what kind of issues or what kind of successes we had, so that it can be immediately implemented in other locations. So we don't have, like, I don't know, monthly, bi-monthly, or in every 6 months a global call to share who did what. No, everything is immediately available. And besides of this information, you have an overview of what the new normal means, what's the plan for your country, who you can talk to if you have any kind of questions, how does it look like in the countries and they implemented it more, what kind of tools we are going to implement in order to make this change, what are the best practice we want to share, what are the pain points that we had, and of course we have a lot of other groups where we can chat about these things, an internal chat board, and we have also this database of trainings that are shifted, separated for leaders and for the employees, all of them covering this new way of working, remote work. And what we from HR are doing is further developing our Carl system. That's a system that we implemented a couple of years ago, first in Germany, and now it's going to all of the countries, where we basically input all of the local HR questions, which have easy answers. So having in mind that we're going to go on this remote type of working and that personal touch will not be so often, we want to put all of the frequently asked questions and everything which is linked to some rules, regulations, and similar stuff. We all want to put it in this tool where it's like Google. You type a topic which you like vacation, and you have a drop list of questions that you could ask about vacations, for example. So also the HR is now transforming, and we are really focusing on a way how to be the best supporters for our business in this kind of environment.